Yes, welcome back. This is a penultimate session of the workshop. So some examples Dr. Kaur was asking, and Dr. Dubey shared that crossing of cats, crossing of roads by the cats. So this is a kind of superstition prevalent in India. I suppose I don't know about the other parts of the world. So now this is a superstition that if cat crosses your road, then it's a sign of some mishappening. So you have to stop and allow someone else who has not seen the cat to cross by. Then you drive your car. So this is a prevalent superstition. Now, an inquiring mind will never generate and accept this kind of superstition if it is being proposed after you start the active inquiry, conscious inquiry. But what happened to the knots, those were there earlier? So earlier, suppose you used to follow this superstition, you used to stop your car and allow the other driver to pass through, and then you start driving. So if this was the case, now you start inquiry process, and now no new knots will be knots of suffering or these kind of superstition will occur. Now here, what happens next time you start driving on the road and a cat crosses? Definitely by default your car will stop by you. Then you start questioning, what am I doing? Is it rational? So you inquire deep into it. What is the inner processing of this phenomena? Is there any idea which is affecting my sensation? All these things will unknot that particular knot which was there earlier. Now next onwards, then again the wheel goes on of the inquiry, and this crossing of the cats will not be affecting you. So those kind of unknotting process we have to undergo from the past. So in terms of food, let's say, when you identify that the modified taste is depleting energy, now a new dish which is being presented to you may not be able to lure you because of the inquiry, because the moment you see a new dish, you go inside and you try and understand, is there any physical matter which is worth getting attracted naturally? Is my natural voice of the organism will my natural voice of the organism be attracted by that matter? When we identify, we do all these inquiry, we don't identify any attraction further. Now, what happened to the previous attractions that you identified repeatedly in your life? So all those sites, whenever it will be coming, the reflection of the previous will come back. Your attraction, you'll identify some attraction. Then you stop yourself, you slow down, inquire, then those attractions slowly and gradually will be dissolved. Are you able to identify these examples, Dr. Kaur?
Yes, yes.
Right. Thank you. So now, yeah.
So,
Rashi, Rohit, yeah, please.
yeah. So I just wanted to know, so when we are neurally growing, like the
Maturing.
connections, maturing, our mind is actually growing and maturing. Are these not neural connections that we are brought up with also form the mind?
Yes, yes, those
So
are the burdens of
basically-
mind. Burdens
Yes.
of mind.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when now we are rethinking about all those knots and, unknotting them, so our neural connection is also changing then.
Yes, and we are actually releasing a lot of burdens. We are conserving vitality. We are experiencing a higher energy level. All those things will be happening simultaneously.
And we can basically, for others, completely be a changed individual.
Yeah, slowly and progressively. Yeah. Otherwise, also we are changing. All of us are changing. Yeah, Rohit, you want to say something?
Yeah.
So coming back to the cat thing, this definitely did not come to a human being's mind on its own. It was kind of shared by somebody whom he kind of trusted to some
Borrowed
extent.
ideas, borrowed ideas.
Borrowed idea. It could be a borrowed idea, right? So, but
Yes.
he doesn't know that. For a human being, an average human being who doesn't know this, would, let's say, how does he differentiate when he's told by a parent or by a senior that you should not jump into a well because that will be harmful to his body or to his life, and at the same time that same person also says that do not walk if a cat crosses you. So how does a human being differentiate both? Because
with the question, with the self-inquiry, not buying any proposal blindly. So that's what is the beauty of the inquiry. No matter if hundreds of the proposals of one individual are rational, the 101st proposal also to be weighted for its rationality, not on the reason that hundreds of proposals are very valid by this person, so let's take the next proposal blindly. This is not the path of rationality or inquiry.
How would you do that? Let's say for falling, let's say about gravity or falling from a building, what is the action or what is the self-inquiry that he can take? For a kid, for a child, even like he's not fearful about heights either. So somebody has to protect him, right?
This is our assumption. This is our assumption. Children born with 3 reflexive fear. Basically, this is a fear of unknown. So, but it is seen in all children that they try and avoid darkness, they try and avoid height, and they try and avoid any unknown phase. So this is basically fear of unknown under the umbrella of fear of unknown. It's a basic protective response of the children, which is by reflex action. It is there already. It is our assumption that they will fall from a height. Just that if they don't notice, which can happen to for an adult also, as a responsible parent will not take the child in a place where there is a chance of falling down till he arrives in that cognition. But otherwise, if that child identifies that there is a height, there is a chance of falling down, he will not volunteer for falling down. Never. So this applies for adults also. Unknowingly, anyone can fall down unknowingly. But the moment you see the height,
separately, what I'm saying is, how does he differentiate rationally between that the fact of falling, or fear of falling, or let's say the fact of falling is truth, and the fact of cat crossing is just
a child will always try to inquire back when you stop him doing something, be it falling from height or going on walking, even if the cat walks, crosses. So a child by default will question back, why should I not do it? Don't you experience that?
I experience a lot of questions these days.
Right. And that's the natural knack of the children. And now we lose patience because of a lot of ideas, and we go irrational in proposing that don't ask question. So it's a kind of suppression that we propose to a child. It's far better to admit that I don't know answer of this question, than saying that don't ask question. Asking question is building up that inquiry process, because it's a simultaneous building up of the inquiry and the neurons. The neuron buildings are also going simultaneously for a child with the questioning. It's a beautiful process. So unless it gets suppressed, so the suppression happens. Don't ask question. I have told you to sit here. Don't go upstairs. That's it. Now one suppression leads to the next suppression, that don't ask question. I said you cat crosses, you don't walk. That's it. That's our culture. That's our tradition of following this. All these impositions are there. You see, and we impose it, and they get suppressed, and they build a habit of suppression. That's the far more impact that we actually contribute to the suppression of cognitive growth. Yeah, Ansu. Yeah.
Sir, I have 2 questions. One is that just now you said that child is naturally has the fear of unknown.
Yeah.
So is
It's a
this fear of
response of unknown. Like, we
okay,
term it as fear, but response of unknown. Yeah.
okay. So so my question is it because of the like it is in the genes itself from the like Homo sapiens have developed some learning over the generations. So that must be in the genes. Is it because of that, or it is just there?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that. Like, yeah, genetic attribution could be there, and evolution,
Okay.
all those things could be there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the second question I have is that when the child up to 5 years, they can make millions of neural connections. So that capacity of mind is learning capacity is that much as until 5 years. So what if a child has not been able to do that because of some suppressions and all that? Is it possible at later stage of time that he can again build back those
Yes.
connections?
Yes, possible.
Okay.
Possible. Always possible. And those millions of connections is not limited to the 5 years only. It will continue. Further, thousands of connections are being built up all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So reversal is possible at any time. Yeah. Yeah, Meghna.
I have a question.
Yeah, Meghna,
Sir,
please.
with regard to this slide, I want to ask you, I have this problem. So I'm just trying to understand. You
Yes,
will
yes.
be able to guide me better. I
Mhm.
have multiple talents. Okay. So I am just trying to relate to how you are trying to explain this to us.
Yes.
So now I try to dwell into one particular thing or one particular, study pattern, and then I leave it very fast. So I always feel that there is a lack of consistency. I have loads of ideas. I take action, and then I leave it, and then I move on to another idea. So what I want to understand is what is going on in this case.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, we need to explore a lot of background from where it was started. So that needs actually a longer duration of discussion and exploration together. And that's one
Okay.
thing, right? Because there is always a starting point of inconsistency. There is
Okay.
always a starting point of inconsistency, but general framework of any kind of inconsistency of such kind is some or other ideas that you formed and created some idea of success or achievement of this task, and in between you find that that particular point of achievement is not being achieved, and you feel that it is not worth continuing. This kind of framework we can explore, but exactly for your case what is happening, for that we need to explore a lot of backgrounds.
Okay, sir.
So maybe in future we can connect and explore together.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. But this is very common, Meghna, that inconsistency and leaving one domain and shifting to another domain. It's nothing uncommon. Every of us do experience that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. But then that can be overcome very easily. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So anyone else? Right. So this particular slide proposes the distribution of sensation. So the complete bar is showing the total sensation that we have, all the chemical changes that is continuously 24/7 happening within us. Now, identifiable are very least, out of which a smaller portion is action driven or physical driven, and a bigger chunk of the identifiable is the idea driven. So when we remove this loop through inquiry, then we conserve a lot of energy, and that increase this unidentifiable, that increase the identifiability of this unidentifiable sensation. Like, because of this loop, the sensation of the chili is suppressed because we deplete ourselves, and we talked about the chili experience repeatedly. Then that gets suppressed. Now, because we release a lot of vitality from here, now I started identifying the chili experience. The natural sensation of chili is now identified. So that way, a lot of unidentifiable physiological sensation will get resensitized as we go along with the path of inquiry. Now, Abhinal, can we read this particular passage?
Rational understanding. The truth, reality, and rationality are observed in 3 layers of existence: physical, physiological, and psychological, respectively. The 3 layers of existence are executed in a connected natural order of acting, feeling, and thinking. Rational understanding is the awareness of this natural order. Rationality is a choice of breaking this natural order of occurrences of feeling only from acting in life. Irrationality is an ignorance of the natural order and occurrences of feelings, that is, emotions, from thoughts, zapping vitality in vicious cycles.
Yeah, so irrationality is an ignorance. So we can bring this awareness and bring back the natural order. And the natural order is an effortless order, effortless order, because it happens on its own naturally. Our vitality is not zapped.
Kamal, in this slide,
Yeah.
Irrationality is an ignorance of the natural order and the occurrence of feelings, emotions from thoughts, zapping vitality in vicious cycles. Suppose we are taking the example of this corona pandemic. Now the people were having the thought which was given by the media, whatever government.
Yeah, borrowed
that,
ideas. Yeah. Any
yes,
kind of borrowed
ideas.
ideas. Yeah.
But it is borrowed on a mass scale, like a very big scale.
Yes.
So the thought is there, ki, okay, this virus is very dangerous and we need to, and then the emotion is generated of fear and the need for protection. So if this irrationality is in such a mass scale, then how, if the person's own rationality is not working, can the other person influence to reduce such an irrationality? Because the rational mind will not accept such a thing.
Yes.
But who is accepting? How to reverse that process seems very
Beautiful.
who are not
point.
accepting, they are not accepting. Who are rational, they are not accepting.
Yes.
And who are accepting this loop, it's almost impossible for them to come out.
Yes. So actually, next topic will lead us to have some hint on this, but let me touch this: the physical domain, and then physiological domain, and the psychological domain. So these 3 domains are there. Now this domain is visible to everyone. Physiological domain is sensed by the individual, only. And psychological domain obviously is the individualized perception. So we are right now talking about the fear, which primarily driven by the physiological domain, because it is sensed within as a belief, right? Be it a borrowed idea or developed idea, but it has started affecting the physiological domain. Now, the beauty of this domain is this is your personal. No matter what is your action, your processing, inward processing is very much your personal. And you can choose not to get affected by the surroundings. Whatever is happening, your action may be modified due to some kind of modification in surrounding, but the sensation level from the idea side is completely under your regulation. Whether you allow any idea to overpower your physiology or not, it is absolutely your choice. Are we able to identify this? So this proposal is that no matter how many people are in fear around, I can still stay fearless. I can still stay fearless. Now the question is whether my beloved person who is under fear can be helped or not. So for helping, the rationale is that individual should be interested to get helped. Now, many times that interest of getting help also gets suppressed. Now, here comes the relationship from my side. If I am agendaless and keeping a close relationship from my side with that individual, no matter how that individual's response is, then slowly and gradually, with your fearlessness, that interest may get triggered. That how you are so fearless. What is the secret behind it? Then you vet it repeatedly. Are you really interested, or you are just being inquisitive at the superficial level? And with this, yeah.
Sir, the point that you have mentioned here, I have very clearly experienced in my own life. It is not only about kids, it's also about adults, that if we consistently exhibit some behavior and they are noticing it, they will one day come back and they ask that how are you able to do it? Because today only it happened to me that I had some argument with my husband, and he told something which was not which was once insulting for me, and I did not take it as insult. And he's coming back and asking me, how can you be so calm? What happened to you? So I can tell you that it is not only kids, it's everybody who
Yes,
are...
yes. It's not the kids. We are talking about any beloved person. It's not about the children of ours. So what happens, the loop that we are talking about, the internal loop, that becomes an external loop often. When we observe, we experience a loop in others person. Impatience, for example, impatience is another loop. The similar loop, the framework is same, ideated sensation. So impatience, when I experience in one of the beloved family member, I become impatient. And that impatience will be reciprocated by the same member or any other member. So we have loops around. It's a kind of spider web within the family. And that spider web can be broken also with just 1% changed. That no matter what is happening, my impatience will never occur because I am in inquiry mode. I'm not faking patience. I'm not faking patience because I am in inquiry mode. So there is no time for me, or there is no kind of sensation being generated from the idea by me, by my idea, that this particular moment is causing impatience. Because I am in that inquiry mode. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to mirror the individual. What is the basis of this impatience in that individual? When I'm engaged in this, where is the time to get that kind of sensation? Are you able to comprehend, or it's complete? Yeah, Rohit, you want to share some?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah. This like, because of other people's physiological sensations, maybe like fear-driven or something like that. Let's say because of they are in a majority and they kind of drive some actions, or some they create an environment where the actions which are related to me kind of affect my physiological sensation. How to handle that? Like, for example, because so much fear around, the government, the police, and everybody has put so many restrictions about movement, about using the mask, about the vaccinations. All those things are happening, and so this is because of fear, but ultimately it has converted into some kind of action, and now physically it is affecting me as well. So it's not that, so I can for today I can say, okay, I am not fearing anything, but the thing is that if I have to move out in my vehicle, I have to wear a mask even if I don't think it is required. Similarly, I cannot go out maybe after 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, depending on what the rule is. So actions are also happening. It's not that the maybe physiological sensations,
impositions of some actions are there.
But these impositions are kind of converting those sensations into actions for others, and then they are coming back to me through actions. And I cannot deny that they are not happening because they are quite real for me.
Yes.
So what's the way out for that?
Yes. So now it's an imposition that you are experiencing because of others' fear, some kind of change in the system and surroundings that is happening. Right? This is the situation. Anything you want to add? here?
No, yes, that's what. Yeah, I think we
Right.
got.
So an imposition, how to respond to an imposition such like the restrictions of wearing mask and these all things. Now,
Right.
with what is the inner processing of this particular imposition to you, that would matter, that would actually define the kind of sensation that you will sense inside. Now, for example, wearing of a mask when you are entering a shop.
Mhm.
It is a mandatory everywhere in India and outside also. Wearing of
Yeah.
mask is mandatory to enter a shop. Now, what is the proposal of putting a mask? If we inquire that, so this is just one demonstration of the inquiry. This is one kind of framework
Yeah.
that we are illustrating that can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
replicated differently and separately on different issues. Now, what is the rationale of putting a mask? The rationale being proposed by the government and WHO and all the stuff that wearing a mask will protect you from the microorganism. Now, when that proposal is there, with your rational understanding, you identify that microorganisms are cohabited with us and they don't attack us, and all those rationals that we discussed. When you identify the rationality and the facts in those proposals, then you find that it is irrational proposal.
Yes.
That for health purpose, there is no need of wearing a mask. You identify and you clear about it.
Yes.
You are clear about it. So
And
there
I
is
also believe that it is harmful to the. So I believe the contrary. It's not that that's not just.
yes. That's a one step ahead. One step ahead. That wearing a mask will hamper my health. That is your rational understanding. It is not your belief.
Yeah.
That is your fact identification.
Yes.
Right. So now with your fact identification, you don't generate any fear. You don't generate any fear.
Yes.
Now you are going to a shop to purchase something.
Yes.
Right. So if you have a deeper understanding of money, you understand that with money purchasing this is nothing and having a money is a burden, and all those deeper understanding you have, even though you are using money to purchase it.
Yes.
So you are compromising somewhere here with your understanding of money. And even wearing of clothes, suppose wearing of clothes, when it was imposed upon, now anybody in your family is staying without clothes, how would you look at it?
Yeah.
Right? You will find very awkward that this is something, it's out of norm. But whereas ultimately, if you look at the rationale, clothes are to protect us from the extreme climate. Now, if the climate is supporting, we can go naked. There is no irrationality about it. So you have accepted that. Why not to accept this imposition? This acceptance is not bringing any sensational change within me. This is just a compromise with the system. System is not the ultimate I identify. And the proposal of the system also is understood with the fact identification that this is not a health. So I'm not definitely going to use a mask out of this shop in my personal domain. I am not convinced about the proposal of the system, but to conserve my vitality and in the debate of that, no, I'll not wear a mask, I will purchase it, I'll show an RTI and all those stuff, I don't want to do. With how many people we can continue doing it practically, right? Are you able to get it?
Yes. Yeah,
So then for that moment, I'm wearing the mask, but that is not affecting in my sensation. Like I wear the shirt, I wear the mask, it become a norm, and going forward, it is going to be a norm.
So so I have a question there that
Yes.
if I accept it and just think that this is okay, part of life or
So
something.
accepting means you are not bringing any change in your
not inside the usefulness, but only accepting it as a norm to be followed, right? As a rule or something like that. The problem is that what I see is that in last 1.5 years in particular, and even before that, things keep increasing more and more. So more and more restrictions seem to be coming in place. And if I do not speak up, I just assume everything that is happening because of somebody's physiological sensations, which I do not approve of, and things keep increasing that way. And so I think what you said, that nobody can affect, earlier you said in the morning, but what I
Yes.
believe is that as more and more restrictions keep coming in, and with the movements getting restricted, with these masks that coming up, and medicines becoming and drugs becoming mandatory, which I do not approve of. And if I do not speak up and just assume that, okay, this is the thing that I have to live with, I'm somehow feeling, maybe it's a feeling, but I'm not able to justify living that kind of life. That
Yes,
just
yes,
quiet.
yes. Let's address that.
Yeah.
So now one thing is that if anything is becoming mandate, which is absurd and irrational, one individual has got always a choice to choose it or not,
Yes.
and fake it at times of choosing it, like the mask. In the mask example, we have not accepted it. Just we are faking for the management of the situation. That's
Yes.
it. And if there is, so now here, this faking is not with the intention to cheat. Intention of cheating is not there. You have a deeper understanding and you are open to the conversation. You are open to the conversation. If it is a equanimous platform, you are open to that conversation. That initiativeness should always be there in a rational person, an inquiring person. Now you are shouting a lot and nobody is hearing you. Nobody is capturing your in the media, and those kind of things never happen, because media is run on the sponsors, and the sponsors are the pharmaceutical industry. So how can you expect that somebody who is shouting against the pharmaceutical industry can be captured through the media?
Yes.
So these kind of shouting is a wastage of vitality. But you should have the integrity to speak up whenever it is needed.
Okay.
Whenever it is needed. That's the kind of integrity which will bring a lot of rational understanding and clarity within you. That you do not have any intention to cheat that shopkeeper. If the shopkeeper is interested and spend time with you, then you are ready to enlighten him with the facts.
Okay.
Are you not? You
Yeah,
are,
I'm sure.
right?
Yes, I am.
You are. So then that solves. And this way the things changes, actual change whenever it has to happen.
Okay.
And the internal change is the primary change that we need to be observant. That we need to change ourselves from suffering to not suffering at the first priority. After that, everything change we can be initiated and can be open to initiate at least.
Sure.
Does that answer somewhat?
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you. Thank you, Kalyan.
Yeah. So yeah, we have 1.5 minutes. Anshu, you want to say something?
No, I just want to share my understanding of whatever you said now. So as you said, what I understand is that if any significant change has to happen through the way, to this understanding of conservation of vitality, then that change will be very slow, because we are not doing any revolution. We are only trying to change ourselves, and with our change, maybe some more are getting affected, and that change among like one person, then another person, that when it keeps on going, it will be a very, very slow change, right? It will not be visible very soon.
So revolution, the societal change, the revolution is an idea. It's an imagination. It's an imagination.
I understand
so
that.
The change is about the inner world. The
Right,
inward
I
change
understand
is
that.
the change that we're talking about. Yes,
Right.
yes.
But anything that has to change on a bigger scale, I mean, the way we are discussing it, this change will be very slow. What we are talking about right now.
The inner change,
yeah,
or the
inner
outer?
change. Yeah.
We
Not
don't know
only
the pace. We don't know the pace. Change means
right.
what exactly you are meaning. I need to understand that.
No, what I'm telling is, I'm not talking about change at the personal level. I'm telling at society level change. If I'm as a person trying to bring some change, and that is keeping in mind the law of conservation of vitality,